Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, good morning. The Honorable Mr. Ahmad Zamzam, M.Hum, as the lecturer of critical reading subject, and to all viewers and friends who watch this video, thank you so much for watching this video. Well, we are from Group 1. On this occasion, would like to present our journal analysis result. But before that, let me introduce my team. Here I am, Hamidatin Zahra, as the moderator and the second speaker of this on this occasion, and my partner Dini Arianti as the first speaker. Then let's jump to the material. But before that, let me tell you the title of the journal that we've analyzed. The title is Why Are Home Literacy, Environment, and Children's Reading Skills Associated? What Parental Skills Reveal? And the writers are Van Bergen, Ivan Zuijen, T. Bishop, D. and Young P.F. And this journal published in 2016. So the keywords of this journal are literacy, associations, children, parents, and reading skills. Next slide. All right, then we jump to the material. For this time, the introduction, the research questions and objects, and the method will be delivered by my partner, Dini Arianti. Time is yours, Dini.
Okay, well, the first one is introduction. Number one, the issue which related to the keywords. Associations between home literacy environment and children's reading ability are often assumed to reflect a direct influence. However, heritability could account for the association between parent and child literacy-related measures. Number two, the theories that the writers use to prove their claims. The study that used is reading fluency in a sample of children beyond the emergent reading phase and their parents. This study focused on decoding skills because they form the basis for reading comprehension skill, and a decoding deficit is the primary criterion for dyslexia. This makes the study clinically relevant. Number three, the evidence that the writer used to argue the issue. The first one is, in the study, the authors assessed the reading ability of children and their parents to have a strong relationship based on behavioral genetic studies. If parent-child similarity reflects a shared genetic influence, and if the same gene is involved in 2 generations, the correlation will be half the heritability of reading. Number 2, from Friend de Vries and Olson 2008 and Friend et al. 2009, heritability of children's reading ability has been found to differ as a function of parents' educational level. Number 3, from Leisman and de Jong, 1998, simple questions about parents' level of education and parents' brain exposure have been found to capture 50% of the variance of the observed quality of parent-child book reading interaction. Number 4, both clinicians and researchers typically assess reading influency, which is a combination of decoding accuracy and speed from Blomer 2006 and Verhoeven and Van Leeuw 2009. And the last from Rietveld et al. 2020 and 13 and Daviskin 2005, the parents' education level and children's academic achievement are interrelated. It is because parents pass their educational achievements onto their children. Number 4, the novelty, that something new in this paper or research. This research method for reading fluency is that the similarities between parent and child are due to genetics. More generally, if the association between environmental factors and child traits disappears after controlling for parental traits, this may be due to cultural transmission that captures environmental effects. However, if we find the environmental effect after taking into account parental traits, it shows the true environmental effects. Well, next is research questions and objects. For the research question, there are 4 questions. Number 1, why are home literacy, environment, and children's reading skills associated? Number 2, why are home literacy environments and literacy levels associated? Number 3, what is the relationship between family characteristics of or number of books at home, and children's learning outcomes or reading ability. And number 4, what is the difference between parental education and literacy at home? And for the research object, there are 4 objects. Number 1, identify the relationship between home literacy environment and children's reading skills. Number 2, identify the relationship between home literacy environment and literacy level. Number 3, to find out the relationship between family characteristics or number of books at home with children's learning outcomes or reading ability. Number 4, to find out the difference between parental education and literacy at home. And next slide is research method. Number 1, research design used is quantitative because in this journal, the researcher conducted more independent experiment by comparing children and parents. Number 2, data collection took place during school holidays for 2 years in a row in Amsterdam and Netherlands. And number 3, the participants are 101 family, such as mother, father, child triads. And number 4, the data collection method used is questionnaire. That is, researchers collect data by giving a series of questions to be answered by its respondents, namely 101 families. Number 5, instrument that is used to collect the data is questionnaire given to 101 family. Researchers divide the data into 2 tables. The first table of researchers collected data, such as family reading fluency, children, father and mother, parents' socioeconomic status, and home literacy environment. Then, in the second table, the researcher collected data such as parental education, parental reading frequency, and number of books estimated in the home. And the last but not least, data analysis method used is quantitative analysis. Okay, that's all for me. Next slide will be delivered by my partner, Hamidatin Zahra. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Dini Arianti. Then next, we jump to the findings. Please, next screen, Dini.
Okay.
All right. The research proposes study design that is easy to apply, as opposed to a genetically informative family design. This design can be translated into 2 lines of future research. The first is to study the environment, which must be studied in a wider range of surveys to examine environmental effects after the distributions of genetic effects. The second, the design that the researchers demonstrate could be transferred to investigate the nature of the influence of home characteristics on other inherited traits, such as children's spoken language, reading comprehension, ADHD, arithmetic, and autism symptoms. The advantages of using this method for reading fluency is that the similarities between parent and child are due to genetics. More generally, if the associations between environmental factors and child traits disappear after controlling for parental traits, this may be due to the cultural transmissions that captures environmental effects. However, if we find the environmental effect after taking into account parental traits, it shows the true environment. The relationship between family characteristics, number of books at home, and children's learning outcomes, reading ability based on cultural transmission and passive environmental correlation. The reading ability of children and their parents has a strong relationship based on behavioral genetics studies. If parent-child similarity reflects a shared genetic influence, and if the same gene is involved in 2 generations, the correlation will be help reading heritability. From Westward, Corley, Hewitt, Fleming, and DeVries in 2002 say that the U.S. adoption study designs and the Dutch twins family study from Swegerman et al. 2015 provide direct evidence of the ratio of genetic and cultural transmissions. Similarities between parents and adopted children can only occur through cultural transmissions. Home literacy is considered close to children's reading than parental education. Home literacy still predicts children's literacy emergent if controlling for parental education. This is based on Foster, Lambert, Boschem, MC Sardi, and Friends in 2005 and Feinstein in 2006. Next, we are going to talk about the discussion. This study demonstrates how applying parental characteristics provides insight in interpreting the observed associations between children's inherited characteristics and aspects of the home environment. So the procedures of this journal of this research is ethical approval for this research was granted by the Ethics Committee of the University of Amsterdam. Written informed consent was obtained from the parents. Family members were tested individually in a separate room by the research assistant. Research assistants were trained and supervised by Van Bergen, first author, and Fanny Zwiger, second author. The museum provides 2 rooms for participant testing. Rooms have partial glass walls so parents and children can see each other. And the test lasts 15 minutes and included more testing than reported here. Both parents filled out a questionnaire that included questions about the home environment together. The parents fill out the short questionnaire that included questions about whether any participating family members ever attended special education, which was an exclusion criterion, and another question about the number of books at home family. Next. Last but not least, we are going to the
This research shows that children's basic reading skill is related to several aspects of the home literacy environment, but mostly it seems to be a hidden genetic effect. That is, they seem to correlate with child reading because children inherit from their parent both a genetic tendency for a certain reading level and the home environment they are exposed to. An exception to this seems to be the number of books that grow up with children, which may have an actual environmental effect on their reading outcomes.
All right, thank you so much everyone for your nice attention. Thank you so much for my partner Dini Arianti. And last, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye.